Hi everybody, I'm Flavia and I hope your week is off to a great start. With today's video, I want to show you that we can use the same set to create note cards for many different occasions other than what a specific set was intended for. We can do that by simply changing the color scheme, the sentiment of course, and most importantly, mix and match different sets, even from different companies, so we can make the most out of what we already have. Today's note cards will be featuring the Spellbinders March 2023 Large Die of the Month. This set comes with 16 metal plates that we can use to create a collapsible tree card base. This set comes with many metal plates to cut out lots of flowers and leaves at once, which can be a time saver, as well as metal plates to cut out the sentiment Happy Birthday. So, to save you some time, I did all of my die cutting before I started recording this video, and I have all of the different shapes of flowers and leaves sorted out in this tray. I will begin by using this large plate to cut out the base for the collapsible note card. We only need one piece like this. I will cut it out of a piece of white cardstock, and then using the same metal plate, I will cut out a small note card out of an A2 size top folding card base. I will offset the metal plate on the top just a little bit like this, so I do not cut out the top section and end up separating the front and the back. I used the Hammermill 100 pounds cardstock to create this A2 size card base, and since I need to cut out 2 layers at once, I will run it through my die cut machine twice. Here we have the white panel and the small note card that I will glue back to back later. However, before I do that, I will use the Honeybee Stamps Spring Leaves piecing plate to add some interest to this white panel that will go behind the die cut tree. Here is a closer look so you can see the beautiful result. Moving on, here we have 3 bars that I cut out of green cardstock using the rectangular metal plate included in the set. Notice that the metal plate also left engraved lines on the cardstock, and that is to indicate how much we should trim it off. One piece we need to leave it as it is. On another rectangular die cut, we will trim it off following the first score line, and for the third piece, we will trim it off along the second score line. So all of these pieces have the same width but different height, and they will go one in front of another. We also need 2 side pieces that I cut out of that same green cardstock, and notice here that the metal plate also created a perforated line on the cardstock to indicate where we should fold it. I will reinforce the fold on all of these pieces with a bond folder and begin assembling my note card by adhering these 2 side pieces to the white panel. I will add a thin line of liquid adhesive, making sure that I do not go over or past the perforated line created by the metal plate. Once I have my side pieces in place, I will adhere the tallest rectangular die cut inside between these 2 die cuts that I just added. To do so, I will add a thin line of liquid adhesive to the left side only, making sure to not go over that perforated line. I will hold this rectangular die cut flat and unfold it up against the left side piece. Once I have it perfectly lined up, I will fold this green side piece over and hold it in place until the liquid adhesive has dried. Then I will fold these 2 pieces that I just glued together to the left side, so the right flap of my rectangle die cut is laying flat and unfolded now. I will again add a very thin line of liquid adhesive and fold the right side piece over this time. As you do this, make sure to test it out by folding it to the right and then to the left, just to make sure it works. Now I can go ahead and add the medium-sized rectangular die cut. From now on, I think it is easier if we glue both sides at once. So with the right and left flap of this die cut already folded, I will add liquid adhesive on both sides and position it right on top of this large rectangular piece. Once I do that, I will immediately start folding it to the right and to the left a couple of times before the liquid adhesive dries, so I can be sure that it is perfectly positioned. And I will do the same thing for the last rectangular die cut, which is the shortest one. For the sentiment, I used the metal plate included in the set. I cut the words Happy Birthday out of holographic cardstock. I stacked about 3 white die cuts in the back to make it feel heavyweight, since it is such a delicate die cut. To adhere these words to the card base, we need to apply liquid adhesive only on this long bar under each word. This way, this section will be hidden behind each rectangular piece, and only the letters will show on top. Since this is a note card that will pop up when we take it out of the envelope, and it is meant to be kept on display, I will stack about 3 pieces of these large die-cut trees so it is not flimsy. I cut extra pieces out of white cardstock scraps, and I will only glue the brown die-cut tree on top so I do not waste my brown cardstock. Once that's done, we can go ahead and start adding color to this tree. I will add green leaves and blue and lilac flowers. Notice that the tree die cut has outlines for the flowers and leaves, so it is very easy to know where to adhere them, but you can definitely add some flowers and leaves for a fuller look if you want to. However, it is better if we adhere the leaves first, because some of the flowers will go on top of the leaves. All of the metal plates for the different leaves and flowers will cut enough pieces to decorate one whole tree. To pick up these small die cuts, I'm using a wax pencil, which makes the process way more fun. And when I'm done, I will add yellow flat back beads to the center of these flowers and glue this tree to the collapsible card base that I created earlier. I will also adhere that small note card to the back of this white panel. It is definitely easier if we adhere the note card to the white panel first before we do anything else, but I completely forgot. If you choose to not use a stitching plate to add interest to the white panel, like I did today, you can simply write your personal message in the back without the need to adhere a note card behind it. Unless you want your personal message to be hidden, it really is up to you. I will give you a closer look at this note card at the end of this video, but for now let's move on to the second card. We will now use the same set to create a Valentine's Day note card. I will begin by adding some interest to the white panel by using the Concord & Ninth stitched hearts plate. I love using piercing or stitching plates because they add just enough interest without taking too much away from the focal point of the note card. I also cut out a note card in the same shape as my stitched panel, and I will glue them back to back now using strong liquid adhesive. To cut out these 2 side pieces and 3 bars, I used red cardstock. I will repeat that same process by adhering the 2 side pieces first, making sure to not go over those stitched lines that the metal plate created to indicate where we should fold them. After that, I will adhere the tallest rectangular die cut between these 2 side pieces, making sure to test it out by folding it to the right and to the left. For the second piece, I will trim it off along the first score line, so it is slightly shorter than the previous one. And for the last one, I will trim it off along the second score line, just like I did before. You can use double-sided tape to assemble this card base if you want to. However, by using liquid adhesive, we have more wiggle room to reposition each bar if you need to. I like to keep on folding this card base right and left non-stop until the adhesive has dried before I move on to the next piece, just so I can be sure that it is perfectly positioned and that I will be able to fold this card base flat to place it inside an envelope later. Since I want to turn this into a Valentine's Day note card, I chose the traditional gold, red, and pink color combo, and I will begin by adhering all of the gold die cut leaves. Then I will add flowers that I cut out of pink and glitter pink cardstock. I will also add tiny red die cut hearts in the center of each large flower and a few more here and there for a fuller look. For the sentiment, I cut Be Mine out of golden cardstock. To do so, I used a metal plate included in a note set also by Spellbinders. And to finish it off, I will add gold flat back beads to the center of the smaller flowers and a few more die cut hearts at the base. For this next note card, we will skip the assembling process since it was exactly the same. I die cut flowers out of yellow and orange cardstock, and with this one, I want to show you that we can also mix and match products from different companies to create new note cards as well. So for the sentiment, this time I chose the Simon Says stamp, Here For You. I love this one and I use it a lot. I die cut it 3 times out of black cardstock and I stacked it for dimension. Since this die cut sentiment doesn't have that bar at the bottom where we can apply liquid adhesive, here I will simply add glue to the back of the die cut sentiment, but only at the bottom half of each word because I want the top half of this sentiment above the green bars just for fun. Moving on, for this next note card, I decided to use different colors of cardstock to cut out the flowers and I love the result. For the sentiment, I will use a thank you die set by Spellbinders that is meant to be used with the flowering tree and collapsible card base. I hope Spellbinders comes up with more sentiment plates that we can use with the flowering tree and collapsible card base, so we can continue on using this set to create more note cards with different sentiments. I really like this set and this beautiful tree is perfect for any occasion. Since the sentiment metal plate also cuts a section below each word for adding liquid adhesive, we will be able to glue this sentiment in such a way that it looks as if the words are floating above each green bar. So let me now give you a closer look at the completed note cards. I added a small die cut flower to the flap of each envelope and instead of flat back beads, I added a dot of Nuvo drops to the center of this flower. Notice that the card base can easily be flattened to go inside an A2 size envelope, and when we take it out of the envelope, it pops back up and stands nicely on display. In the back we have the note card where we can write a personal message, and this note card has a lot of shine thanks to the beautiful holographic cardstock. Moving on to the Valentine's Day note card, I used this border by Lawn Fawn to cut out this border sentiment that I added to the flap of my pink envelope. This one also has a lot of sparkle thanks to the metallic gold leaves and the metallic red hearts. The white panel in the background has a little bit of texture thanks to that stitched hearts metal plate. It is such a small detail, but I feel that it made all the difference. And here is a closer look at the one featuring the Simon Says stamp, Here For You sentiment plate. I love this color combination and the stitched leaves on the white panel. I thought about applying Ranger glossy accents over the black die cut sentiment just to make it glossy, but I think I will save it for the next time since I really love this note card as it is and I didn't really feel like waiting for it to dry. But no, that's a great way for making your die cut sentiments stand out if you have the extra time. And last but not least, here we have the thank you note card. I die cut the sentiment out of a piece of metallic silver cardstock and I decided to add a few more flowers and leaves to the base as well. So this is all that I have for you today and I hope you enjoyed this video and felt inspired. When this video comes up, I will actually be traveling in Brazil and I hope I have as much fun as I did creating this note cards today. I was amazed at how quick and easy it was to create these beautiful and fun pop-up note cards. As always, thank you so much for watching and remember you can find a supply list of all products used in the description box down below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel so you do not miss the next one. I hope you have an amazing day and happy crafting!